As a gal in her 50s, I'm always curious about how a makeup brand that is super popular with the young folk is going to perform on my older skin. So in today's video, I'm doing a full face of Rare Beauty makeup, and I am super excited. Now, I'm sure you have heard about the makeup brand by Selena Gomez. It has taken the world by storm, and I think she has some pretty amazing products. Now, let me start by saying she's only 32, so her makeup requirements would be very different from mine. You know, she has that whole youthful skin thing going on. But I remember picking up a lip product, I don't know, maybe more than 2 years ago when I was in Sephora in California, and it was love at first wear. Now the downside is I lost that product pretty darn quickly. And ever since then, I have thought I need more of this in my life, and not just one, but many. You know, but at that time, they weren't even available on this side of the pond, so I just had to be patient. But then Space NK started to stock their stuff, and I immediately purchased what has become another true love. And I will get to that shortly because we are going to look at it. But quite recently, Space NK opened up a new store, yay, in a local shopping center here in Dublin. So I went to the opening, which was absolutely jam-packed, by the way. And I booked myself into a Rare Beauty makeup session, and boy, did I have a ball. So I have picked up pretty much everything I need in order to do a full face video. So today we're going to apply all of this beautiful stuff together. So my skin is lotioned and potioned. It's feeling nice and hydrated and ready to go. So first up is the complexion product. This is called the Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. I have this in 24N, which is neutral. They say it's a lightweight, easy to apply tinted moisturizer for a natural, no makeup look. And girls, if you know me, that is right up my alley. It comes in 24 shades. It's enriched with vitamin E, and I paid 34 euros for 1 fluid ounce or 30 mils. Now, this is not a foundation. They definitely have a foundation in the range. I didn't go for that because it's not my bag. I just prefer a tinted serum because it's more lightweight. You can apply this in whatever method you like. You can use a sponge, you can use your fingers. For me, it's all about the brush because I just don't like things to get too messy. One of the things that I really like about these products is that they are accessible from a format perspective. So this particular product here, if you see it, it has this little notch here, which is great for sort of holding it and opening it up. So if you have any trouble, if you have arthritis or just you find it a bit tricky with some of these products, I think that you're absolutely going to really like this. I'm going to put a little bit on my hand. And for this, I'm using my trusty It Cosmetics. It's my favorite little brush, the Luxe brush. I'm just going to put some of this there, and I'm going to start slow because I don't know how this is going to work. Oh gosh, look at that. Now, I actually bought this foundation the day that we did the makeup trial, and I haven't used it since. Like, I knew I was going to do this video, so it's just been sitting over there waiting. Because I didn't have all of the products, I had to go back just this week to pick up a few more. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to take a little bit more. It is very lightweight, guys. If you're into a full face of makeup situation, this is not going to be it. But the finish on that is beautiful. But I think, let's see what happens if we put a bit more on. Can we layer it up, right? Can we go to a medium? Has a lovely finish to it. I'm definitely more of a stippler than I am, you know, a painter. I don't know what they call it. You guys know makeup is not my forte, but I can tell you that I think that is absolutely beautiful. Do you see the finish on that? It's got okay coverage. There's no redness here, which you can probably see on this side. But it feels really nice. It feels hydrating on the skin, which is the name of the game in my book. Yeah, gorgeous. So I'm going to apply a little bit more to the hand. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. And then we're going to put it over on this side. You know, it ends up giving the pretty good coverage if you're needing it. Now, is it a bit light for me? We'll get to that in a minute too. I bought this, I don't know, 5 months ago, maybe? May. June, July, August, September, October. 5 months ago. And I'm a lot darker now than I was then, which will lead me to one of my next products. Anyway, okay. Now, it's not full coverage. You still see I have scarring here on my nose from a car accident, right? And I don't really bother trying to cover it up, but you can still see it coming through. So if I had freckles, you'd probably still see them if you want to. This is a beautiful finish, isn't it? Isn't it, Carrie?
Yes, Mary.
He's like, don't talk to me. Okay. So I used, a fair amount. I have to be honest. I went in a couple of times with that. But I think the finish is beautiful. There's a slight sheen to it. It looks healthy. It does look a little bit light. But that's not the makeup's fault. That's the sun during the summer. Gorgeous. We like, we like, we like. Okay, next up is the Positive Light Under Eye Concealer. This comes in 6 shades and is 26 euros. Mine is in the color light medium. This is not a concealer, right? It is not there to cover things up. It is there to brighten the under eye. And that's generally what I do. I don't use concealers pretty much ever. I just like to get a little bit of lightness. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit there, which is actually a lot. And I'm going to put a tiny bit there. I have used this a few times, and I don't know how to control it coming out of the applicator. And I'm just going to tap that in underneath the eye. Now, in a regular world, I would also put this on my eyelid, but I'm not, because I have a product for that. But look at that. Do you see how much brighter that is? I'm asking them, not you, because I know you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I was wondering who you were asking.
I'm asking the people that are here watching this video with me, who is not you.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like, look how pretty that is. It's brightening. Because it kind of goes back to, I want to have juicy, bright skin, right? That's what youthful skin looks like. So I'm using makeup to help me deliver on that desire to have that nice, healthy, happy, youthful skin. And I think that looks great. I think it's not too much. It's not cakey. It's very lightweight. I don't think it's going to settle into anything. Gosh, that is just so lovely. Yeah. I like it. Okay, so next up is a bronzer. Now, I don't really wear bronzer except for one reason, and that's generally when my foundation is too light for my skin. Now, this happens a lot in the summer months because I don't tend to buy foundations in multiple colors. I don't tend to stick with foundations long enough for that. So I usually look for something that I can put over the foundation if it's just a little bit too light, which is what it is now. Like if you see me, I don't know if you're picking this up on camera or not, but this part of me is a lot darker than this part of me is right now. I have picked up the bronzer. It is called the Warm Wishes Effortless Bronzer Stick, and I have it in Happy Soul. Now, I have never used a cream bronzer before. I don't know if this is true or not. I think the bronzer is supposed to go somewhere around here, but generally what I would do is put a little bit of this all over. But, I don't know. Let's just see how it goes. Lovely stick, though. I'm gonna just put some right there. And we're gonna see how this works out and go kind of up with it. It's funny because I never wear bronzer, and then sometimes when I put it on, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. Why don't I wear bronzer more? It definitely warms up the skin, in my opinion. Do I need it all over? I might, because this is quite light, but I think you're supposed to go up with the bronzer. Is that correct? Anybody who loves makeup, tell me if I'm doing this correctly. I think I need a little bit all over, so I'm going to take it like this and just sort of go over the points where the sun would hit. Because that's usually what I would do with my powdery stuff. Just to kind of warm it up. I think I like this. It's creamy, it's easy to use. Ooh. What do we think? Gary keeps looking at me. Is he talking to me or is she not talking to me? You're allowed to participate and respond. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Responded to that. Okay. So I feel that that's actually warmed up my foundation a bit, so everything seems to be matching a bit better. It's soft. It's creamy. This thing is fantastic. I love it. Happy, 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 happy. So far, digging it all. So I did pick up the True to Myself Tinted Pressed Finishing Powder. I got this in the shade Light Beige. It comes in 14 different. Now my Light Beige, I think they say it's a light medium with a neutral peach undertone. Now this was picked out for me, and I was kind of surprised because I don't generally do a peach undertone. I tend to be more warmer, but at any rate, this is supposed to instantly blur. Since I have, I don't know, normal to dry skin, I don't tend to need a lot of powders. I don't get shiny throughout the day. However, I do like to sometimes just use a little bit underneath the eyes to set it. Okay, I picked up these things. I can't remember what brand they are. I will list them down below. They're little, I can't think of the word. I'm having such a menopausal moment. Poof, puff, you know, whatever. And I'm absolutely obsessed. So what I'm going to do is just take a tiny bit and just put it right there in case anything starts to move, and just to set it a little bit in there. I think that's really nice. I'd be curious if I used a brush how that would work, but I'm kind of obsessed with this. I have a couple of the small ones and then a big one. It is the fluffiest, cushioniest, softest thing you will ever put on your face. They are not expensive. I think I got a 3-pack for less than 20 bucks and I am obsessed. Okay, that's lovely. This is definitely a minimal makeup situation going on here. Now, here's where it starts to bling up a little. We're talking blush. Now, this was one of the earlier purchases for me, and this is called the Soft Pinch Luminous Powder Blush, and I have this in the color Cheer. This puppy whacks a punch. It comes in 6 shades and it retails for, I think it's about 29 euros. This was my go-to blush for months and months and months. It has this super soft, kind of silky touch, but it is super illuminating without being sparkly. You do have to be careful with it because it is so heavily pigmented. I have completely overdone it. It is very, very easy to do, so be warned now. I'm using one of my Refer brushes, which is amazing, and you need the smallest amount. I am not joking you, the smallest amount. And I tend to go just kind of right here, like, can see, or maybe you can't see. Looking in my mirror, it's deposited quite a bit. You can overdo this so easily, but the color, and it has this little bit of a shimmer to it, not a little bit, who am I kidding? It's like sparkly goodness without being sparkly, and it has all of that shimmer. Now I've just overdone it for the sake of this video. I have overdone it. I look like I have a sunburn now. So generally when I do that, I'll go back over with my foundation just to blur out the edges. And this is the only blush that I overdo it on out of all my blushes. But it's also one of my favorites because it just gives you a bit of life into, oh, I can see all that little shimmer happening. Can you guys see that? Gary, can you see the shimmer?
Yes, Mary.
Can you? Is it sparkly?
Very.
And you can never have too much sparkle in your life. That's what I say. Which leads me on to the next product, which is also in this illuminating space. And this is the highlighter. This is called the Silky Touch Highlighter. I have it in the color Exhilarate. I think it comes in 6 or 7 shades and it retails for 27 euros. This was my second purchase. And as soon as they started to sell these at Space NK, this is the product that I bought because it was being talked about. So incredibly beautiful. It is so incredibly beautiful. Oh my gosh, she's so pretty. She is so freaking pretty. What am I going to use for this? I'm going to use, that's awfully big, isn't it? I don't care. So this just gets you the most beautiful highlight you will ever see in your whole life. So they have more sort of goldy ones and sort of pinky ones. So there's going to be something to suit everybody's skin type, but it just gives that that shine. Like I want shiny skin. I want youthful, like I want donut skin. Who am I kidding? We all know that. Look at that. I just love it so much. So I think I picked that up a year or so ago, and I have used it to death. I cannot believe how much product is in here. I can't imagine ever hitting pan on this because I've used it incessantly and there's almost barely a dent out of it. So that's sort of the complexion-y face sort of stuff. And now we're going to move on to the eyes. So the first thing for the eyes was an eye primer. It's Always an Optimist Weightless Eye Primer. I don't usually do eye primers, guys. I don't generally have a separate one for that. But, you know, they put it on the list of things, so we said, okay, sure. I do find I like to have something on the eyelids, and I tend to use concealers for that, right? So I'm going to put it directly on there, and I'm just going to use my finger and see how that goes. I bought this also 5 months ago and never use it. Do these work? I don't know, guys. You tell me. Do you use them? I generally don't. So I haven't tested this to see if it works or not. And are you supposed to go all the way up? I don't know. Let's do it. I mean, I put eyeshadow up there, so in theory, why not? It does give a little bit of brightening too, because when you get to be older, you can get discoloration, which I do have. I can have a bit of redness or just general blotchiness. Oh, the joys of aging, folks, right? So that definitely has a lighter, you know, nice little base to it. And it does have what feels like a tiny bit of tackiness, but tackiness in a good way. So, you know, so far so good. Okay, so next up is eyeshadow. Now, I was hoping to get a palette, but to be honest, they only had one, and I didn't really like it. It was called the Discover Eyeshadow Palette, and it's a collection of mattes and metallics, as well as a 3D glitter top coat. This was not for me. You know, half of the palette is cools. I don't wear any cool colors. They do not suit me. And even the warmer ones just weren't the right ones for me. So I didn't get that. So what I figured we would do is repurpose, because this is what I always do. I always use a bronzer for that sort of crease color. It is perfection. And in fact, I think it's a Jones Road one that I just use pretty much every day. It just gives you that little bit of depth, just that little bit of depth right there on the inside, which I love. So I'm going to see if I can pull it off with this guy, because it generally works. The colors tend to be perfect, you know, a little bit of depth without being too crazy. It's very creamy. Ooh, I don't generally use cream eyeshadows either. Maybe I'm onto something, guys. Maybe tell me, do you prefer creams or do you prefer powder eyeshadows yourself if you are in my same age range? I'd really like to know. That's really nice. Really nice. Oh gosh, it feels really nice on the skin, I have to say. That is lovely. Oh, perfect. This might be my new favorite because I'm digging the cream aspect, I have to say. Color's great. When I bought the color, I was worried it might be too cool. I think that they said it was in the cool side, but no, I don't think so. I think that's great. I am not a complicated eyeshadow person, and I think every single video I have mostly the same eyeshadows on. I'm not the best for experimentation. I do watch videos from time to time of other people who use 4 or 5 different colors, and I don't know how to do that. So I tend to use 2. One sort of all over like this, and then I go in with a little bit of lightness on the eyelid, which is what we are going to do today. Now, so what that meant was they only had a series of eyeshadow sticks, and I didn't like most of them. So I got the one that I liked the most that sort of looks like a champagne color. This is called the All of the Above Weightless Eyeshadow Stick, and I have this in the color Integrity. It's kind of the only one I liked. So I'm just going to apply this on the lid, because I do like to do a little bit of sparkle, and then I just usually tap it in with my finger. Ordinarily, I just dip my finger into a palette, you know, like a powder one, but this does feel really nice. I'm not sure it's as brightening as I would generally do, but you almost kind of can't see it. Can you see it? Maybe I'm just used to using a lot more shimmer. I think I probably am on my lids. Because for me, that's a little recessive. Maybe I should have gone for the palette after all that had metallics and had like super glossy 3D finish. Maybe what I want is a 3D finish after all. I don't know. It's a pretty color. I don't feel like there's a lot to it. I feel that it's a very natural look, and maybe sometimes I like a little bit more, you know, it's not necessarily sparkle, but just a bit of lightness there. That's what I tend to like. I mean, it's pretty, but I wouldn't say that I love that. Do you love that? Ah, I don't know. I did pick up the mascara. I think there's only one. It's called the Perfect Strokes Mascara Volume Universal in black. They only had black. I've been buying a lot more brown of late, or blue, or other colors, but not as much black. But it's what they had. So it has a super, super fluffy brush. Now what I am going to do is curl my lashes because it's just what I do. This is the Rephr eyelash curler, and I love it. Sort of loving everything from Rephr right now. And then let's put this on. Funnily enough, I had posted on my Instagram that I was going to be doing this video today, and one of my friends here, not friends, I've never actually met her, but we talk a lot on Instagram. She actually lives here in Dublin. She's into photography. She said this was her favorite mascara of all time. She has completely thrown everything out, and well, she probably didn't throw it out. It has just taken over as her favorite, even above all the super expensive high-end ones. Okay, well that's quite nice. Okay. See, I guess I'm considering this one coat. Okay, so that's one coat. Did I get any? It's quite lengthening, isn't it? Did I get some on my eye there now? I think I hadn't done this before. Okay, we're going to do the other eye now. Give that a little squeeze. Go in again. Oh yeah, no, that's pretty darn nice. We're going to go in with coat number 2. See if we can really maximize length. It feels curling. Wow, okay. Holy cow, that is fabulous. And you know, if it's daytime, I don't generally put anything on the bottom lashes. Oh my gosh, that's great. That's great. We'll put a little bit. It is technically nighttime. Oh, that is good. Oh, that's good. Okay. Putting a little pile of my favorite products. Ironically, they're kind of all ending up in a little pile. Okay, last up are the lip products. The first one I picked up during my makeup session. It's called the Stay Vulnerable Glossy Lip Balm. And this is in the color Nearly Neutral. It comes in 5 shades and it costs 23 euros. So this is what I'm wearing right now, and I've been wearing throughout this. I like it. I don't love it. And I think I have this weird love-hate thing with glosses. I'm experimenting with lots of them, and I think I prefer the ones that sort of lean more oily, you know, than the ones that kind of go more sticky. I think it has pretty good staying power. And I got it in a very neutral kind of a brown because I just didn't like any other colors that they had. Actually, that's a total lie. The chick who was doing my makeup, she was wearing it, and I'm like, ooh, I like that. And she said, oh, it's just this little lip gloss. So I have nothing else on my lips. I haven't been lined or anything. I just gave it a little swipe, and this is how it looks. I like it. I do like it. But I'm going to take this off. So we're going to talk about the product that I actually really love. And this is my very first purchase of any rare beauty product when I was in Sephora. It's called the Soft Pinch Tinted Lip Oil. This comes in 8 shades and it's 22 euros. And all I can say is it's worth every freaking penny. The color that I bought back in the US was perfection. I have no idea what color it was. I have no idea at all. So when I was in Space NK just a couple of days ago to finish picking up the last few items, I went in to buy this, and every single tester that they had on display for me to try was empty. I couldn't get anything out of the little tubes except for one color that I really didn't like. So I had to take a bit of a punt. I had to just pick one and come home with it, which is what I've done. So this is Delight. I don't think this is the same shade that I bought in the US, but we're going to put it on now. Okay. This is definitely not the color. I think it's fine. It's probably a little bit darker. I think that the color territory is fine, that kind of raspberry. I love the feel of these things on my lips because it feels oily, but it's not an oil. And the staying power is so much greater than you would ever think. And I love it. So I actually want to buy them. in loads more shades, but my local shop, I wasn't able to even put the shades on my hand in order to swatch them. Super, super annoying. But this has staying power. It feels so nice on the lips. So good. If you are a lip gloss / lip oil person that needs something that's going to stay a little bit longer than most lip oils / glosses do, this is worth a try. It just is. So guys, that's it. This is my full face of Rare Beauty makeup. What do you think? Now, I realize when I do these videos, and I do them from time to time, they're kind of fun. They probably all end up slightly looking the same because I obviously have a thing. I like Fairly There makeup. I like just pinches of color here and there. But I do find that it gives me a natural look. It just looks great. What do you think? Do you like it as much as I do? I keep buying 1 or 2 things here, and I really, really embrace them, and I really, really love them, and I think some of these are just fantastic. You know, what might I not need? You know, I could probably do without the eye primer, but that's just me. The eye brightener, I think it's great. I do have a few other ones, but you know, that's fine. I think that the real winners for me are the blush, the highlighter, and the lip product, and the mascara. The mascara is pretty fabulous. It is pretty fabulous. So all in all, I'm thrilled with these products and will absolutely continue to use them. So tell me, have you tried them? Have you tried any Rare Beauty? I have to assume that most people have, but I'd love to know your favorites. What are the ones that you reach for over and over again? Did you have the same problem I do with the blush, that it's just so punchy, you gotta be careful with it? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please do leave your comments for me down below. And if you enjoyed this video, I would love if you would give this video a thumbs up so that it reaches more people, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have made it to the end of this video, and thank you so much for sticking around, leave me a little lipstick emoji so I know you were here. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you at the next video. Bye.
Born ready, Mary.
I know,
Born
sugar.
ready.
I know. I like that about you. Always ready you are.
Always ready.
Okay.
It's on. We're ready.
Are you ready?
Are you ready,
Do you want
Mary?
me to start talking? Is now the time?
Whenever you like.
Can I just sit here quietly?
I wish.
That is so never going to happen. You're such an ass.